Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the new Paradigm Woods and Irons from Callaway.
Hey, I'm Matt Adams, and this is your Golf Central update. Big news from the PGA Tour today as they announced their schedule for the 2023 FedExCup Fall, consisting of 7 official PGA Tour events that will provide more immediate consequence than ever before. Let's take a dive into that schedule. The FedExCup Fall begins at the Fortinet Championship before taking a 2-week hiatus, during which the Ryder Cup will be contested. Next is a 3-week stretch of events in October, the Sanderson Farms Championship, the Shriners Children's Open, and the Zozo Championship. Following a 1-week break, the FedExCup Fall resumes October 30th in Los Cabos, Mexico, at the Worldwide Technologies Championship, and then finishes with the Butterfield Bermuda Championship and the RSM Classic before Thanksgiving. Here is what's at stake with the fall schedule. Players who finish 70th or better in the FedExCup playoffs and eligibility points list through the 2023 Tour Championship, they are exempt for 2024. But new this year, players ranked number 51 and beyond will carry their FedExCup points from the regular season and first playoff events into the FedExCup Fall and continue to accumulate FedExCup points to finalize eligibility for the 2024 season. The FedExCup Fall will finalize the priority ranking entering the 2024 season, including the top 125 category for those who finish outside the top 70 in the FedExCup standings. Here's the official designated events eligibility criteria. Top 50 from the prior season's FedExCup points list. Top 10 from the current year FedExCup points list, not otherwise eligible. Top 5 from the current year FedExCup points list through each segment. Additional qualifiers, tournament winners. Top 30 in the official World Golf Rankings, sponsors exemptions. Top 10 from the fall into the West Coast designated, and the elimination of participation requirements. A Century Tournament of Champions has unique criteria to other designated events, of course. It's a change that had already been revealed to the players weeks ago, but now it has been officially announced with more reaction from the players out at the RBC Heritage. We send things out to Kira K. Dixon.
Well, Matt, as you mentioned, we now have a lot more insight into what the FedExCup Fall will look like. There was a meeting yesterday here at the RBC Heritage for the Players Advisory Council at 4 p.m. where they were told that this was going to be an announcement today. I spoke with several players to get their reaction to the difference between the fall we've come to know and the fall that we will see.
Yeah, I think it's good. It brings some life to the fall. I don't think it was kind of understood just how impactful the fall is to a great season out here until the last couple of years. So you started getting more guys playing, but now I think everybody knows what's at stake. It's a continuation of the season. It's a reordering of cards, and I think it'll make it almost kind of back to the old fall series where there's a lot at stake and a good reason to tune in.
Sure, like we've seen so far, these designated events are pretty big, and like you said, the guys outside the 50 trying to play their way, improve their status, improve their number, and just try to play their way into those big tournaments. So I think they'll be, pretty crucial, and if you can play well and get yourself in a good position to play some of those bigger tournaments for next year, I think it'll be pretty exciting.
I know there's a bunch of guys who took the fall off, so it felt like it was, slightly not even really the main part of the FedExCup season, but now it feels like it's almost a different playoff of sorts. I think that you will see a lot more top players playing those than potentially last year, but I also think it's a great opportunity for guys who did play a pretty heavy first 9 months of the year to take a few events off and just cherry pick their favorite events in the fall, which there are a bunch of fantastic ones. And there's a lot of talk too about the designated events being just good for the top, but purses haven't decreased for the rest of the membership too, and now there's a huge carrot in the end of the stick for us to play for. So I think they're awesome changes.
Absolutely. Last year it was just the beginning of the season, so there wasn't much on the line in the fall. Now it's the end of the season, so that's where all the stress will go to keeping your card. So imagine as the calendar year, the fall is the time when guys are battling to determine if they have a job next year, where last year the fall was just kind of like a slow start to a long year. It's now a hot, strong finish to a great year. So again, it's after the playoffs, but if you don't make the playoffs, it's, I guess, a secondary playoff to keep your card. Is the best way to look at it.
Well, the last event, guys are going to be playing for some position, and so I think we're going to get we usually get a very good field. Obviously, we have a lot of local players that live on the island, but I think we're going to have guys chasing all those positions. Can I get in the elevated events? Can I keep my card? So it's going to be an exciting finish, and then the guys that don't make it, they turn around in a few weeks and go back to Q School.
When it comes to Davis Love, who we just heard from, he has a bit of a unique perspective. Davis Love serves as the tournament host of the RSM Classic. And in the past, the RSM Classic has been a nice way to end the calendar year. But this time going into that event, there will be a lot more at stake.
Kara, thank you very much. Earlier on Golf Today, I was with Whit Watson, and we were joined by Executive Vice President and President of PGA Tour, Tyler Dennis, to discuss these changes. I know the question is going to seem simple, but I think it's important to start here. Why did the PGA Tour do this?
Yeah, well, thanks, guys, and great to be with you here from the RBC Heritage. It's going to be a great week here. Yeah, I've been listening to you guys talk, and we could not be more excited about this reimagined FedExCup Fall that we've announced. We're always wanting to take our product forward and evolve it, really for our fans, and we've taken what's really a fantastic set of events. There's 7 events on our fall calendar, and we feel like we've added a couple dimensions to it to really have more consequence and more drama as we leave the FedEx Cup playoffs, go into this FedEx Cup Fall, and we're really excited about it. I agree with everything you guys were saying.
Early reaction from the players that you've spoken to. We just heard from Kira K. Dixon that there was a PAC meeting yesterday there at Hilton Head. But among players you've spoken to, what are you hearing?
We're hearing really positive things across the whole membership. And this goes back to last summer, where we started to announce the different pieces of our schedule and how we're evolving it. Obviously, everyone's familiar with what we've done with the designated events, the January to August race to get into the FedEx Cup playoffs. The playoff field sizes are smaller. But this last piece, the FedEx Cup Fall, has really been an important thing to the players because we've got great tournaments. They each have their own kind of brand, and I heard you guys talking about several of them. The players love each of them in their own way. But now they come at the end of the season, and there's drama there. There's drama, to try to keep your card, get in the 125, but also we've added this new dimension to try to get in that 51 to 60 to get into those first designated events. So it really ties together well and is a great competitive, dramatic story as we get in the fall. And I think it's important to note that the benefits of winning a fall event are just as strong as they've ever been. They're receiving a full allocation of 500 FedEx Cup points to the winner, official World Golf Rankings. If you win, you get a 2-season exemption, get into the Century Tournament of Champions, continued access into the various major championships that have categories for winners. So it really comes together, I think, in a way that fans will really enjoy and connect more directly to the immediacy of what's going on in the fall.